So eternal life or eternal death would be absent of either sin or joy. Without those things, how do we have perspective on pain or pleasure? If all we knew was eternal suffering, how would it be suffering at all? If all we knew was eternal life, joy, and praising God, how would we know that that is good without the pain to put it in perspective? So, if I'm understanding the question correctly, basically Montgomery is saying, okay, well, if we're in heaven and having eternal joy, praising God and, having eternal joy, how could we understand it to be truly joyful if we don't have something to compare it to? Now, if that's the question, I guess I'm not sure why that's a puzzling question, other than to think, I suppose if God sort of wipes our memories of the hardship that we endured on earth, then perhaps that's why the question's being asked. But I don't have any reason to think that that's the case. I think that we will have a resurrected body that will eventually live for eternity, but we'll have numerical identity with our bodies, which means we'll be the same person, but just have our bodies in a glorified state that is uncorruptible. And consequently, we'll know what we faced on earth. And so even though we'll be living eternally with God in sort of a joyful place, then we'll still be able to reflect and recall, what had happened when, prior to the resurrection kind of thing. And likewise, if somebody's in hell forever, it's not that they wouldn't know any different, because they'll think, well, man, on earth, when I lived, prior to the final judgment, I had hardship on earth, but man, it certainly wasn't like this, So I don't know. I think we will be able to know the difference and have perspective. If we're living on heaven, we'll have the perspective of what it was like to live in hardship. And if we're in hell, then we'll remember what it was like to not always have hardship. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on that. It's an interesting question, and I don't know if that's a sufficient answer for you, but that's my quick thoughts on it.